What is up, guys? Welcome back, of course, to the second season of the University Alliance Cup, featuring, of course, Wild Rift. We are here for the last series of the day. If you've been joining us throughout the day, we appreciate you guys, and we're here. Again, I am Naisu, and I am here paired up with OSX to cast for these games for you guys.
Yep, guys, we continue the action with TUP, Manila Gearhawks, and a PNU SULO raising the torch. And of course, it's the Hawks versus, again, the campus raising that torch. Again, it's all about the battle of being the best of the best in our collegiate series of games. You know what I mean? League of Legends Wild Rift, as one of the debut MOBA games this year, it's rising with our competitive plays this time. And AcadArena makes it happen in the alliance of the universities because hashtag it's not just play, making it all happen with our partners and sponsors by Globe Telecom, ASUS ROG Phone 5, Logitech G, Riot Games, and Twitch Student are our official platform partners. So going up again with this match, and the standings of the previous match of week 1 can totally brew some, again, rising up to the challenges, making it through different compositions. As we've witnessed, USD Teletigers has been thinking about it that we can still fight it through these challenges and making it possible. Teletigers and Sage Esports gave us one heck of a fight.
Yeah.
So for this one, PNU, 1/3 of a three-way tie in a Group B with HAU, Faith, and PNU, with 3 teams leading to the Group B. It's still a wild west where nobody knows who's the strongest right now. So TUP 1 point behind and could definitely overtake the team in three-way scramble. Naisu.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see this, how this turns out. We have the bans. Not surprised by the bans at all. OSX. We've seen these bans. But like, I feel like I could do a prediction on bans and win every time. Give or take one champion, maybe. But we have Akali, Diana, Camille, and Ziggs being banned out, and you know who that leaves open? OSX.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If they have been watching the previous games, you might think this. I'm gonna feel the vibe right now in the room. Come on, take this, PNU. Take the first prediction of read our minds. I'll say so. You have predicted this time. You went full. Oh, we both went in for PNU.
Yeah, we both went for PNU.
Okay. So interesting. It's still 1 point behind. So as the story goes in, so we still can't tell of who's who in this one. It's going to be a tight match, and if they have changed a little bit of fixer-upper, this might be their way of putting it through another challenges with Gearhawks. There's still most of these schools are still strong, and I think it's going to burn down on how will they play this composition well in their banning and their prio picks. So Fiora,
yeah, I think Fiora, Gragas. There's a lot of open good picks, but I feel like Gragas. I would be looking for a Gragas here, honestly, because Gragas just fits in so many different spots. You can play him in the Baron lane, you can play him at mid, you can play him jungle, you could play support Gragas if you wanted to. He's all around champion, basically. And of course you have Fiora as well. So I haven't had the opportunity to see these two teams play yet. I've looked at the stats. I've looked at the reviews of the storylines and stuff. But as coming in for the last series of the day, it's going to be interesting, and I'm sure we're going to see some good games in front of us.
Oh yeah, come on guys, put those picks in, because what's interesting about League of Legends Wild Rift is because you see League of Legends champions being played in a different scale, like Lee Sin, you see Galio, and I can't imagine if Azir is gonna land in League of Legends Wild Rift.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will be. Yeah,
it's gonna be one heck of a if some people has mishaps on using some champs. We're not perfect. There are chances that you can slip the finger and put in a different set of skill and actually answer in a different way. So it all happens. I think the only way to counter that is to have that proper reinforcement with your squad, because if you're playing together, you have this a mystical sync connection with your minds that that, hey, if your Shear's going in, I know Sly is gonna take it in, and making it all possible. Blasphemy, Milan, it's all about having that one connection, and
what's actually too interesting about, and I've been thinking about this the past Ever since
Yeah.
I knew about AcadArena and the Collegiate Cup and stuff, I've been thinking about, these players,
Mm-hmm.
how long do they get to play together, right?
Oh.
How long are they able to build chemistry? Because I mean, when we consider like professional teams, Bren and DR Esports and stuff, those
Oh,
guys
yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
playing all the time. They're playing all the time. They played, unless their contracts run out, they get replaced. They play for months, if not years, together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it made me wonder about because on a professional level, we see those players, how their chemistry unfolds into games. Now, when we talk about the Collegiate Cup, you have these teams. How long have they been working together? Of course, the game's only been out for less than a year, right? In
Yeah.
open beta, technically, I
Mm-hmm.
think about less than a year or a year. So, can you imagine these college teams? These players. How many of them have been able to play together to build this chemistry, and on top of that, how many of them are actually interested in going to the next level if it's possible? That's what's interesting to me
Oh,
when
yeah.
we talk about, and I'm coming from a place too where college sports in general,
Yeah.
you look at a college team, whether it's esports or regular sports, you see these names: Sly, Ushiro, Bitter End, and Anito, Blasphemy. You see all these people, and you're like, what is their plans? Do they want to play in the pro league? Because the thing about that too is the pro league for Wild Rift is gonna. I feel like the pro league for Wild Rift is gonna explode in the next year or
Oh, yeah.
two. We
Oh,
have
yeah.
that. We have the first worlds already
Oh,
announced.
yes.
Right.
Yep.
So if I was a college player in this tournament right now, a collegiate player, and I was sitting here thinking, do I want to go to the next level for Wild Rift Esports? There's so many opportunities now, and I feel like,
Mhm.
when you're talking about college teams such as this, such as Gearhawks, such as Sulu, and all these teams we've seen today, they're fortunate enough to have a college team and have a college tournament that maybe, they can show off their skills. They can show off, a little about them or their team. And then, who knows what's going to happen in the future is my point here. So
Yes.
it is, I've kind of like ranted on about this, but it's something I've been thinking about the past couple weeks now that the
Mm-hmm.
Collegiate Cup's been going on is a lot about these players because most of the cast that we've done, I'm sure, is mostly on a professional level. Even when you're talking about Wild Rift and the opportunities there, even Liga, like there's a girls' league,
Yeah.
right? There's girls'
Yeah, yeah.
leagues. I think the Sea Games is going to have a
Oh,
girls' league.
yes.
I think.
Yes.
And my point is, there's so many opportunities coming here,
A
and
lot.
it's
A
and this
lot.
collegiate cup
Yeah.
is so interesting because I want to know how many of these players want to play in the future. Because I think we did mention earlier too in the day that some of these players were at their like graduation ceremonies,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
right?
yeah. And we have mentioned it was Faith Tokyo and Penguin. It was during
Yeah,
the it was during the
yeah,
broadcast. Yeah,
during the
right?
broadcast, right? That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So I've been thinking about this since that, especially wondering, you know, when these players graduate, are they done playing on these teams? Do they advance? Do they want to go into professional Wild Rift? Because I have a feeling that a lot of these players, especially at the collegiate level, and
Yeah.
even younger Wild Rift players,
Mm-hmm.
if they see what's in store for esports for Wild Rift, I think they'd be really interested in it. And I think it's also going to come down to how is the first Worlds going to be?
Oh
OSX,
yeah.
and I think that's really exciting, not only from
Oh
a
yeah.
casting standpoint, but just
Yeah,
this
yeah.
whole thing in general, right? And now we have these picks coming out, and what did I say? Who, you know, who's that
Gragas.
first pick right there?
Gragas. You were totally on point with that. Anito taking Gragas. And again, for the follow pick, Messick as Galio. Ooh, you can't go wrong with Galio. As you've mentioned, Naisu, yeah, you have a good point because esports in the Philippines is still growing, and
Yeah,
League of Legends Wild Rift is still debuting this year as well. And seeing League of Legends in a mobile setup, yeah, you're seeing T1, you're seeing C9, you're seeing different kinds of members like before TSM. Seeing them in PC this time, what makes it competitive? Because you're going to use phones, and you've mentioned if they want to take us to the next level, it's going to be a career for them as well. in this stage, well, with this opportunity that AcadArena gives to the students, it's a blue ocean opportunities to take them and to dive it all together. Because if they succeed in this, they can make a career out of it.
Yeah, and you know that's why I love this idea of the collegiate cup as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get to see a lot of talent here.
Yeah.
We can see how it develops through the entire stage of the tournament. You
Oh yeah.
know, and you know they have those accolades at the end of the day to really have under their belt if they want to go in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, okay, going into the team compositions here, OSX, you know, we have some solid picks over here for Sulo. I'm glad to see an Ari. I always am. You know, not
Oh
surprised
yeah.
by Kaisa Alistair pick here. That's such a strong composition. You know, we're gonna have a Gragas again in the Baron lane. It'll be
Ooh.
interesting to see how they decide to build Gragas because it's either going to be, you know, a tanky frontliner again because, you know, they got Rengar, but this time they have Alistair. So, you know, can that Gragas go a little more damage or is he going to, you know, stay kind of tanky here, initiator, and really let Ari and Kaisa do the work as on top of having a Rengar, right? Rengar,
Yeah.
even despite the minor nerf, still
Oh
packs a
yeah.
ton of damage, right?
Correct.
And now
And
on top of that,
yeah.
yeah, on top of that, man, I like to see this Annie pick. I like to
Oh
see
yes.
Annie.
Yes, yes. Showing up
Yeah.
again. I think this is the second time around today that they have taken Annie in the field. So
Mm.
Ari and Annie, yep, burst and follow power up with the Spirit Rush coming from Ari really takes a pack of response. And Alistar, I'm happy to see him back in again in this set of games. I haven't seen him for a while, and maybe to withstand scale damage from the other side of TUPM is Anito and Blasphemy. Rengar wasn't totally used in the first week because it has just been released. So they have this opportunity to take it this time. So maybe right now, as we see some universities are rising up to the fall in the first week, but this time they have full opportunities to take these new champions inside this game.
Yeah, yeah. And again, both teams, I think both teams have a pretty even like composition here.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I want to say that over here on GHX, you know, on Gearhawks, I want to see some of those hero entrants really starting things up
Oh
and who
yes.
knows too, because Sly, the thing about Annie is such a good pick because although she relies heavily on Tibbers initiations,
Mm-hmm.
she packs so much damage. You know, she does have
Yes.
so much damage in her kit. You would be surprised, and again, Annie is running flash. You know, so she has flash. She can flash in, drop Tibbers, and set things up for a good hero's entrance. Or it can be the opposite way: a good hero's entrance into a Tibbers. And I think Gearhawks have a great setup. But on the other side too, if you look at PNU's team, they also have a great setup.
Yeah.
Not only can they cancel the setup with a Gragas displacing everybody with an explosive cask, but on
Oh
top of that,
yes.
they have the Alex. And look at the flash coming in. Here's the
Oh
flash. They're
yeah.
gonna go for the
Too
setup,
early.
right?
Let the charm go
Charm.
back.
There you go. Into another flash. Rengar jumping in there. Gets the kill. The
Oh,
first
red
blood going over to
Fusion.
Rengar. Blasphemy taking that one. Now we're done. Andy gets the bola off too, and he's going to work on Andy. Sly having to flash out there. And here we go. Nice little taunt. The knockup as well from the Galio. He's going to go ahead and chunk that damage down. He does survive, but there we go. First blood going over to that Rengar.
Oh yes, and you know what? I think that was the activation of the thrill of the hunt, and you have seen that possibility take this. You know, he has the power once you're totally running for your life, and that's Rengar's total strength out of it. It's the weak point of each hero. You're seeing it with our ROG replay. Look at that miscalcu, and that's seeing that taking by that blue buff. They're trying to seal the deal here by taking that scuttler. As for the strike and the charm, it was totally Milen's charm that make it through that with the ignited health and chance. That was Blasphemy taking for the jump from behind. Once you're in Rengar, face me up front, my lord, because I'm gonna not take that weakness in.
Hey, I like what Flacco did there. He put the blast code over to the blue. Here comes Rengar actually for the station. Has the jump, gets the Galio down, just shreds him. And but yeah, Flacco taking that blast cone earlier and then just using his flash to go into that
Yeah.
scuttle too. That was a pretty interesting play, but it did work out. You know, PNU up 2-0 right now. And it looks like the first dragon's going to be that Ocean Drake OSX. So, you know, it is going to be a valuable dragon for both teams. You know, Omni Vamp being very valuable, especially later in the game, depending on the itemization for the team and everything. So, Omni Vamp can really actually change the tide of little skirmishes. You know, we've seen it time and time before where someone gets away with just enough health because they have that little bit of Omnivamp, and it will be interesting to see how both these teams decide to take on this first Drake.
Oh yes, prioritizing the long sword with Yushiro, probably going in for the IE in the first pick, and Kaiza as well. I think is going to go in for the Bork, and as well as
Yeah.
for the side of Ari, probably going in for Morello for to get that additional mana as well as magic haste ability. But this one, Rengar, he's going straight for the Triforce. I know he's gonna go straight for that. He
And
needs
he's
an
almost
extra.
got it.
Yeah, he's almost got it. He has the Sheen. He also has the hammer as well. So mostly he's forming up some sort of glove of destruction anytime soon. But for this, Annie has the Roa, and as he scales up, he needs that extra thick skin. But it's total control, as you've mentioned. Annie was showing up in this map, and it's too it's a good of a possibility. He has Tibbers, he has the Pyro's possibility of having with the double stun. So you need to look after that teddy bear because it's not gonna be funny to see some scared teddy bear with just fiery eyes.
They have no vision. There's the initiation from the Officer. There's so much damage coming out. They do happen to get the Lee Sin down. They lost the Smite. Here comes the Demantium Justin on top of that. And now the Rengar jumping into the back lane. He's working on the Kai'Sa. And then Kai'Sa gets taken out. He was working on the Corki. He does take him down. There's two left here. Are they able to take him down? The Flash coming out now. There's the kill right there on top of the Ahri. And now the knock-up. And that's what gonna be another kill for Rengar. Unfortunately, again, as I mentioned, OSX, that stun from Annie can be devastating.
Oh, that ROG replay is gonna make it for the cut. Look at the entrance of Flacco. That gave him for the unbreakable will to be unleashed and for the hero's entrance. So that was a three-man knockup, and speeding it all together, releasing that Dimensional Justice has gave them way to seal the silence on the side of PNU SULO. So that opportunity, the silence, and as well as the hold made way for Yushiro's missile barrage to put into the damages.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, Gearhawks securing that Drake is going to turn out in the long run. You know, Corki already having that Triforce here. Of course, you do have a Blasphemy on the Tri. Oh, he's walking right into the bush here. Gets the knockup, but there he gets chunked really low. The Rengar bobbing and weaving through the bush, and now you have a turret fight here. They're going to go ahead and back off here because they, you know, they don't want to fight under a turret. Obviously, everybody's going to go ahead and retreat. But as I was saying, you know, you have all the champions in the game pretty much securing their first items here, and now it's going to transition into a Rift Herald. You know, we just had all that action in the bottom lane for that dragon, and now we're going to have everybody pretty much making their way up to this Rift Herald.
Oh yes, this is going to be an opportunity for Gearhawks to take this Steal of the Herald, one of the most essential ways of breaking through the early destruction. Oh, that's a Sonic Wave. Is he jumping in? One Blind Monk up for ready, but whoa, this time around he has GA. Confidence and up top and is ready for the knockup. Spring all together. Taking it successfully with the Smite. There goes the Charm. There goes the follow-up. Knockback in. Hushiro is not getting for the fires in the backlines. Anita, on the other hand, is not too drunken yet, but he is being chased by that magical, scary bear from TUPM.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, you know, with Bitter End. Very confident. You know, Lee Sin taking that GA for the first item has that confidence to really go in there despite Rift Herald being covered by enemies, has the GA, can go and get that Smite, and now they're working on the turret here. He is going to get low, but again, he has that GA here. There's a knock up here. That's going to be a turret. Does go in with that Sonic Wave. Very, very low. Gets jumped up by the Rengar, and now you have Ahri working on this. Garen does take him out, and there you go. They got the turret, but unfortunately they did give up 2 kills there. And now, again, they do have the Rift Herald. As I was just saying, they do have that Rift Herald. You know, he was able to secure that. Very confident with the GA. So that will be played into the next Drake most likely. You can see here an initiation under that turret. And, you know, it turned into a bad nightmare for Gearhawks here as they were taken down in this Ahri coming up just in time. Milan there. Well played.
Oh, GWP for that fight, but it's still not over. It's 7-6 because as the story goes from the first week, Naiso, we still can't tell. But they're trying to tighten the screws on who's going to set the first score. It's all about pacing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pacing, proper item priorities. As of now, Corki, classic prio item build, the Triforce, Galio heading to that thicker armor, and as well as you need that Garen. Good way of getting the Sunfire in because you need to deflect some burst damage in the side of PNU Sulu. But holding it together, they have more kills. The gold is not that easy. It's not even in a gap actually with PNU and TUPM as you can see. And ROA, probably the next item for Annie would be the death cap. And prior items for the junglers in the side of these two squads. Lee Sin getting for the GA, and as well Gragas prioritizing Sunfire. Not going for the magic damage, but he needs to get thicker because he's going to be the first line of defense for this one. Speaking
Yeah.
of which, back on the silence, follow-up would be great, but no opportunities there in the side of PNU Solo. Slowly but surely, and the Drake is going to show up soon.
Yeah, Drake's coming in, Corky's coming in with a package, you know, and again, if they do happen to get this Cloud Drake, it's going to be really valuable for Shiro here on this Corky because Corky is just, you know, he's one of those ADCs that he's just seems hard to catch. He's flying around, you know, not to mention there's this Rift Herald drop, you know, and if they get this, there's the Charm actually landing, but here comes the Garen, the flashes are out, there's the taunt, is they able to connect, and there we go, we have the team fight, the Tibbers coming down, there's the Demacia Justice as well, now they're working on top of the Alistair, he does have to flash out, Hero's entrance as well, Ari with the Spirit Wash, but it's not going to be enough. Flacco forced to retreat. Rift Herald's up, so they have to handle that, and now they can put their eyes on this Drake. And as I was just saying, if they're able to secure this Drake, they're going to slowly build up some momentum for Gearhawks here. Again, they have the two dragon buffs, right? So they're going to go ahead and utilize those really well with their team composition.
Competition 7-7. Naizu, this time the gap is in the advance inside of UPM Gearhawks. I think the one initiating the fights is Milen. Once you get to the charm, it's all out for you for the temptation to dive in because if you totally accepted that bait, one might survive the attack or one is gonna fall. So if they try to see the proper way of handling this temptation, they might need to look after Galio or even Sly. That's aesthetic and as well as Sly as well. As I mentioned, Messick, and looking at the items being built right now, Annie has a death cap already, and Alistar probably going in for the secure of shield, and next is Rengar Triforce as well as for the Ari heading for the Ludens classic build. You need that extra echo to get the magic damage through, but now we have this one with nice too.
Yeah, and then we have the initiation here. Everybody here towards this bottom turret. He's gonna miss the dash there, but it looks like they're gonna be just disengaging everybody pretty much here except for Corky and Ari. And as you were mentioning, you know, itemization wise, everyone's pretty much getting those items. But what I do want to say is that Annie, Sly on this Annie, you know, doing such a great job staying behind everyone. There's the dash right there. And again, Sly is doing such a great job at staying behind those front laners such as Galio and Garen, and I think that's what's making it so hard for them to catch. They just can't get her, and here's the initiation right here. We do have that Sonic Wave, and there's the taunt as well, the knockup, the Demacia Justice should come out soon. And there's the Hero's Interest as well. Zaya Maze has to get the fruit because she's getting really low, and there you go, they have the break off there. Again, the Sly wasn't there for that fight, so you know, if Sly happened to be there for that fight, I'm sure it would have gone a different way there because, again, as you said, she's packing that row. Look at the damage. The stun, all it takes is the stun. Tibbers come down, has the cap, gets the turret. And again, Sly, with the damage on this Annie, is a force to be reckoned with. They're going to have to start getting some type of duplicate. The bolus to cancel the recall there, but again, they're going to have to do something about the Annie because Annie is just one of those champions that a lot of people sleep on. But if she gets this momentum, which she has now, and the items, if she drops Tibbers on 2-3 of your team, it's goodbye.
Totally. And look at this, ROA and death cap. Nice. This is total so much scale damage and actually adds extra health on it for Annie. And as they control this river, they might want to see this. But what UPM Gearhawks is doing is they're totally burning out the ultis coming in from PNU SULO. And one of which is Milen. You don't get me wrong with Milen because she can totally start a set. But if it can go two ways, it's either a bait or it's going to be their advantage to put you in a state that all of you can have a frustrating moment to execute your composition as well. But
Yeah.
7 to 8, the goal isn't that too far from one another. Sorry, it's 1,000 only counting. And this time it's trying to take control of pressure. This
Uh-oh.
time, okay, somebody's having.
Here we go, face into the bush, and he's gonna get. I don't know how many ultimates went down on him, OSX, but they wanted to get that Rengar, and they deleted him right there. They take him out. They say, you know what, Rengar's down. Let's go for the Baron now, because wow, he was not expecting to see all those members of Gearhawks in that bush, and they're going to try and do something here. There's the flashes coming out. Here comes the taunt, the knockups as well. And Garen getting chunked really low, actually. He's going to have to back off. They also back off from the Baron. There's the headbutt. Can they take down the Galio? They're working, and again, they're going to have to disengage here because they are currently losing this fight as they get knocked up. Sly now being focused on. Again, everybody focused on the Annie. They shut her down. Now they turn their eyes to the Baron, and they go ahead and call that off because Flacco is pretty low. But that's what they needed. As you were just saying, OSX, both these teams are pretty much evenly matched. I mean, 9-9, gold isn't that much of a difference, and now you have PNU focusing on this Drake here, which they should be able to take, if not force another fight.
Oh yes, and PNU SULO has taken to seize them. They're now trying to seize the moment of putting their kills inside. Again, in Wildrift, you need to get your damage in, but it's 9-9. This is one of the most tightest game that we have seen today with SULO and Gearhawks. Right?
Yeah.
And looking at this, what you've mentioned, it's all about holding that damage. Build up damage from the latent possibilities in these two competitions of champions is totally high, and if you're with your all-time low momentum and to dance around this kind of micro play, you have to take, as we saw in the previous match, in the previous game, Blasphemy was put in the bush. You know that we need to take this, we need to take Rengar out of the equation. Probably it's because of his passive that gives him so much abilities in the brushes, and they don't need that additional stubborn champion to take those skills away. But for the Drakes, it's in the side of a TM Gearhawks for the Ocean. You have the Mount, and again for the side of PNU, so you have the Mountain Drake. So what they try to do right now is probably holding and delaying the time while they try to take and move some objectives through. But right now, you're seeing another 1v1 with Anito as they try to finish up some unfinished skirmishes in this game.
They're just tickling each other. They literally do no damage to each other. But here comes Kaisa to help out Gragas here, and he's gonna go ahead and just back off. I mean, they're literally just poking each other. There's nothing really happening there, you know, because they're both tanky, right? So, the one thing too is you have to watch out because, again, Gearhawks do have like a really good front line, whereas PNU is really relying on Gragas and Alistair. Now, in terms of who has the better front line, right? Because we're talking about initiations here, and you can see like those initiations coming out from Gearhawks. But the thing is, PNU has an Alistair who can soak up so much damage, you know, and on top of that, Gragas, we saw him there, like he takes no damage right now. Gragas itemization, you know, has that Spirit Visage, Sunfire Cape, a Bramble Vest, has the Gargoyle enchant as well, and you have two big tanky boys, Gragas and an Alistair, just pretty much in the faces of everybody. So, you know, Gearhawks is gonna have to figure out how to deal with that front line, because I think those two offer more CC for the team, for PNU, and they're just gonna, all they need is good follow-up. Oh, it looks like he's gonna get taken out here.
Anito takes it for the slash and that auto. That was too obvious to take, and I think they're trying to break down some turrets down here, the side of Flo. And as you've mentioned, itemization, composition, and then again, they can all have a different flavor. Right now, nice to that thing from the lane.
Here we go in the mid lane, and they're going for initiation. Vid gets the taunt off, but he's still up and alive. Count Corky coming in with the Valkyrie does have the damage, and there's so many flashes coming out as well. Now Ari running for her life, Kaisa as well, but they have so much front line to deal with. Here comes Sly with the flash, misses the fireball, unfortunately. Can he get the kill? There you go. Kaisa finally going down. Ari on all the flashes once again from the Lee Sin. They're still working on Ari. Bitter End gonna have to get out of here, but here comes Garen with the silence and the spin to win, and now they're working on Blasphemy. Blasphemy trying to jump away all he can, gets the heal off, but it's not gonna be enough because here comes Mezek with the silence, and there you go, the kill. And that's gonna be a team fight right there, OSX.
That was the ace, and this is the opportunity for the base taking this time around for ROG Replay. Look at what just happened. As they try to isolate, takes it for the auto, taking down Galley with the follow-up again. And that was totally the charm working out through the defense of the bait. But this time it was to create a deep to another chance while Messick is trying to focus on Ari. That was a flash chase initiation that we saw. And as they try to follow up taking one more member, needed the ace. And as a result, you have now the bad Baron this time.
So many flashes during that fight. Yeah. Now you have an Elder Infernal effect. Elder Infernal, probably the best Elder you can get. And, you know, both teams are going to want to fight for this, but at the same time, Gearhawks have that Baron buff, and they're here to take this Elder to start it. And they're feeling very confident in being able to do this, I'm sure, because, you know, all they have to do is power up those minions, push those lanes in. They have those tier 1 turrets all down, whereas PNU still has a tier 1 turret in the bottom lane deal, and I think they're going to focus on that, trying to get a pick off here. And looks like the hero's interest coming down the side as well on top of the Flacco. And again, Blasphemy in the corner there. He's looking to skit on Sly. Does catch Sly up. Look at the damage from Sly. There's so much AP damage coming from Sly's Annie. Takes out the Rengar. And meanwhile, Corki pushing to win the game over on the Nexus. Look at Corki right at the middle by himself.
You're forgetting the guy. What?
He's going to go and try to end the game here, but they close the gas, get the minions out. They're still powered. All they have to do is tower lock, and it looks like game 1 going over to Gearhawks with that push of Nectar.
Oh, that was a total diversion play, Naisu. Gearhawks was seeing on a different level. Hey, I'm soaring up high in the Wild Drift. Guys, take it out. Take it
was all part of the plan.
It was all part of the plan. Gearhawks, we have mentioned that these schools is in a state that they can totally fight in a tighter zone, you know, 10 to 15. The gold is not getting farther from one another, and the compositions that they have used, the items being Sly the MVP. Look at your Annie, showed up some moves right there, and as they saw that opportunity, that was Tippers making so much stun and control.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing too I want to mention is, like, you know, you have, as you've mentioned, both teams, I feel like, are very even matched. You know, for the entirety of that game, you know, there was very even across the board. It was, the gold wasn't that, you know, there wasn't much disparity in the gold. And I think both teams did a great job. They just, Gearhawks got that control towards the late game. You know, they had some key point winning fights there. And I think they really utilized those fights, like, really well. So I think we're in for a treat for game 2, honestly. I think it can go either way, even on the draft. Like, both drafts were good. You know, both drafts were good. I think, you know, they utilize them well. You know, Rengar had a great start, but I think he had some trouble.
He did actually.
Especially with Sly. I think, you know, Annie's Sly, very, very strong. You saw Sly just... Rengar caught Sly, but Sly's like, no, it's not going to happen. You know, one stun, Tibbers comes down and just deleted the health bar, right? And I think either way, this game can go either way here. Both teams evenly matched, great players all around, and it's just going to be interesting to see how they go into this next draft.
Yep, I think I'm gonna get some 50-50 points on my prediction for today because I've with the prediction of PNU, but they have perfect combination and setups, and we cannot be precise on how they execute this, because what makes it so unique, because each of the squads, you know, has a different rotation. Probably they would fall for your bait. Oh, they have banned Gragas, for example. Oh, they have banned Akali. Oh, maybe they're going for this, they're going for that. But some people doesn't know that, oh, they're going in for our trap B. And maybe we can utilize it as a weakness for them, but it is our advantage. So, as you've mentioned, Rengar having the burst coming from the back, which is his total stronger point of having you with the ambushes. I think that gave Sly another chance. Okay, take me on. I have a big teddy bear right behind my back, and not to mention he has a stun receiving that pyro and activating with the with the fireball. It's too much of a scale that oh, okay, I'm going back now. I'm sorry. I'm not I'm not gonna do it anymore.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny because Rengar was such a threat in the beginning, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
And that's
precisely.
usually what happens. Like Rengar early game is very strong because the burst potential from an early game Rengar is pretty scary.
Oh
And I
yeah.
it was played correctly. Like they were pretty safe in the early game and Rengar got a couple kills too. Let's just be honest. He got those
He did.
early
He totally did.
kills. Almost had a Triforce at the first dragon.
Yes.
Almost had it. Because he got the first blood as well. And the thing is I'm sure we won't see Rengar again being picked.
Oh.
I think they're gonna go for maybe a better jungler. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, when I say better, I mean a better pick going into this composition. Because the thing with Rengar is if he does get shut down at any point in the game, it's really hard for him to come back. And when you have those burst mages such as Annie on that Sly, or Sly on the Annie, it can be very hard. And not to mention when you have Garen in there doing his thing. You have Galio taunting everybody, taking all the front
Oh
damage.
yeah.
So it's really hard for Rengar. Rengar was built to get behind enemy lines and take people out. But unfortunately, like as we said, Sly
Yeah.
said no and just had the damage shit that Sly needed to stop that from happening.
One of the classic picks, Annie from League of Legends.
Annie.
Going up this time. Last week we have seen a AcadArena pick. I don't know if we're gonna feel it once again in
Yeah.
this. AcadArena, you see, I haven't seen Vayne. I think when you said a better pick, they could probably go. I haven't seen. I know I haven't for the previous matches. I mean, so they can either go for a Jarvan 4 for a
Mm.
quick set.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think if they would consider a double synergized champion that they can deal damage as well as give you a perfect set, they can't go wrong with Jarvan for with that. But for the other side, Galio, and they were trying to utilize as well being the support, being the tank, and for the Gragas, he can scatter out champions. But then again, what you need to look after for is the damage coming in from the backlines. It can totally deal some pressure that who you're gonna pick with. Oh yeah, I've already targeted this champion, but not knowing somebody's sneaking up from behind. And Kaiser, and he was on the Baron play. There was two isolated members low on HP, and he just
Yeah.
totally activated his third skill that totally rushed in and rained in some shots from her second skin. Because what makes her so essential is because of her passive stacked
Mm.
up damage. I mean, Kaiser. Oh well, you can't go wrong with that girl. So that's it for the first game. So let's go in for the drafting and picking this time around. And Gragas and Fiora Naisu out
Yeah.
for Gearhawks.
Not surprised. I'm still not surprised every time I see, every time I see a Gragas ban. One day Gragas will be able to play it, and I think every time he's open, he gets played. You know what I mean? He's just a great pick. Displacement so good, so I'm not surprised by that ban. Fiora, win condition in herself. Camille has been banned quite a bit too, and I think it's just mostly
Yes.
because Camille's mobility around the map is so good. And on top of that too, you have Garen ban, which is most people have been letting Garen pass through, but I feel like more and more as we get into this tournament, they're starting to realize like how Garen is a nuisance. He's one of the most it's similar to Annie. He's one of
Yes.
the most
Yes.
basic
Totally.
early champions. But actually I like that. I like that about Wild Rift. We have these OG champions that
Oh yeah.
still valuable
yeah.
picks. And not to say they're OP. Garen's not OP by any means. Annie's not OP by any means.
No, not
But
at all.
if played correctly in the right composition and
Mhm.
in the right hands, these OG basic champs, or like what people like to call them, basic champ, can be really, really valuable.
Yep.
Yes, Garen might be like S tier on a tier list, but when it comes to
Yes.
competitive play, we need to not worry too much about tier lists because it comes down to the player that's using them. And
Correct.
that's why I was so excited to see an Annie pick, because I was like, you know what? If I see Sly play this Annie really well, it's going to be exciting to see. And we saw it there. Again, Garen does get banned quite a bit in some tournaments, and in some tournaments, they just let him pass through because he's one of those champions that really kind of goes under the radar. Now, again, if Fiora wasn't banned and Garen's not
Mhm.
banned, we see that matchup a lot,
A
a
lot.
Garen versus a Fiora, maybe a Garen versus a Darius. Like we see those matchups a lot. But I think towards the mid to late game, Garen's value is very, very high as far as being that front liner. Not to mention silence, like
Oh no.
silence in any game, but especially in Wild Rift, silence that silence that Garen provides can
Oh
be
no.
a deciding factor for a team fight, for an objective. You know, it can be something very important. Not to mention demands injustice, right? Like it's there as well
No,
to just
no, no,
pump out
don't
the
go wrong with
damage.
that.
So, yeah, so you know those. I, I like to see this Garen ban because he's been picked a lot. So
Oh yeah.
it is
Oh
going to
yeah.
be interesting again
Come
to
on.
really see how this draft goes.
I'm gonna end 50-50 for the first one. Garen, you would say OG champ. You
Mm,
don't see this in tournament plays, but he's really showing up now. Hey, I'm here for my sword. I'm gonna spitting my way in through the victory, which is so essential. The silence, man. Whatever you say to me, this skill is so effective for my teammates.
yeah.
Follow up, it gives you time. Hey, I'm gonna hit it in. Come on, I need the follow up right in from behind. Okay, let's deal damage. And for the first prio pick of Messick, Akali, nice. Ooh.
Yeah. Bro, I love Akali. That's
Oh
number one.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And I love watching her in games too. Again, it comes down to how are the players executing them, you know, this champion and I feel like Akali is definitely one of those champions that it's just cool to see what can be pulled off with a well played Akali. You know, perfect execution, very flashy. You know, shows off finesse, and that's
Oh
what I like to see
nice.
here on Akali. So I'm excited again, like I was with the Annie pick. I'm excited to finally see Akali again. You know, we saw her early on in today's tournament as well, and it was just a pleasure to watch. And I'm not surprised too. Diana being open, Diana is picked here, and again, okay, Rengar is picked OSX, so we are going to see some more Rengar action.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
An exchange actually. They're using Rengar this time in a TUPM. Probably they've seen, let's make a chemistry out of this. And oh no. Oh, they're going in for Sulo. They're going in with Jarvan 4. Are
Hey,
they
you called it.
listening? Are
You
they
called it.
listening? You
I think you're
okay.
watching.
I think you're watching. The Jarvan 4 actually can totally set up a different way with the catalyst, you know?
Yeah.
And probably they might go for a Braum in the side of Sulo for the classic combination of
Classic
Kaisa.
Kaisa, yeah.
Kaisa?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
we'll see.
All right.
We'll see what
Mhm.
they take that because
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I'm guessing. You know, it's either going to be a Braum, most likely Braum. I'm going to say 90% we're going to see a Braum
Braum.
here, Braum
Oh, come on.
Kaisa.
Come
Um,
on.
and you know, we have Galio support again. We're seeing a lot of Galio support. Wow,
Okay.
Jana's being shown.
Janna.
Not sure if they're going to
Okay.
lock that in there, but
Interesting.
we'll see.
Mhm.
Okay, it is going to be
Okay.
a Jana. We saw a Jana Kaisa combination
Mm.
earlier today, and it
Yes.
actually worked out really well. It was a Jana Seraphine though. It was Jana Seraphine Kaisa Seraphine at mid, and you know Jana with the shield plus the attack damage from the shield, and not to mention Ardent Sensor first item
Oh.
paired
Oh yeah.
really, really well with a Kaisa. Really well. You know, the attack speed, the shielding, the AD, and it really allowed for Kaisa to just be online and pump out so much damage. So it's going to be interesting to see how, you know, Sulo decides to play this. And at the same time, they have a very strong mid pick as well
Yeah.
into this Ziggs. And I guess this is going to be a Diana Baron lane, which
Probably.
I haven't
Yes.
seen yet. Unless they put Ziggs for some reason in Baron lane. We're gonna find out,
Mhm.
right? SX.
It's
But
gonna be in Baron Lane. Yeah, there's one game today that they have used Diana for that, but
yeah,
if he's gonna have a match up for Akali, with
yeah,
the cooldown, you know, with the ultimates from Diana and Akali, he would have an advantage in terms of harassing her and poking her. But
yeah.
if in team fights, she can totally deal some good a lot of sets
Minions
to
have
pull through this
spawned.
time. But hey, 1-0 TUPM Gearhawks versus PNU SULO going in for game 2 on who's who, and let's settle this time. But this is all made possible by our partner, by the reigning king of gaming smartphones, the ROG Phone 5 with Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 with 144 Hz AMOLED display and massive 6000 mAh battery to take your gaming experiences to the next level. So hashtag for those who dare. Available in your nearest ASUS ROG accredited store nationwide. So hop onto rog.academy.com to check it out. You gotta rig up that gameplay nice, so you keep the game with ROG.
Don't need an ROG phone, man. One day. But yeah, so again, we do have that matchup in the Burn lane, Akali versus Diana. You know, which you do see sometimes in the mid lane as well, and not surprised there. A lot of folks coming out here from Akali, and Anita gonna have to go ahead and get that honey fruit early into the game here.
Yep.
So we have scuttles coming up in about 10 seconds. Again, we're gonna see both junglers making their way. Again, we have that early aggression from Rengar. I think, but Jarvan also can probably hold his own versus Rengar in the jungle. It's going to come down to a 3v3 fight here, most likely for the Scuttle. I mean, they are crashing down here. Everybody wants this. Here comes the initiation. The fight did go out. There's the time. Jarvan getting really, really low. He's going to get now. There's the first blood for Rengar. Once again, a Rengar getting the first blood. Bitter End has to flash out, but they're going to go for the backup here, and they're going to go ahead and just back off there. Once again, a Rengar hitting that first blood and having that aggression. I'm not sure. I think it's not the scuttle there, but
totally on point with your aggression play with this ROG replay. Look at this. As they try to charm Jarvan for in this one, putting it up together with the knockup, and they try to have a chase flash, and this time Bitter End was on the last hit of the auto, but they're not overextending this because we have taken the chance of making that first score for TUP and Gearhawks.
Yeah, and it was a good play. It was a good play there to secure that scuttle and grab that first blood, and then just disengage. And it's surprising because a lot of younger players, and this happens even for professional players, it's hard for some players when they get that first blood and they get the objective to back off. Some people, and here we go, we have another initiation. There's the Bola. The Shuriken as well. They're not able to get the kill though. And I think their end backed off a little bit to either the turret was in range, or he wanted to give that opportunity for Messick to get that kill on Akali. But again, it's hard for players to really just back off once they get those kills. And it was a good call to get that first blood and just back off there, because now they have a Clown Drake coming up in less than a minute here, and we're going to see some resets going. Everyone's going to be getting that level 5 at this point now in the Dragon lane, the Baron lane, so we're going to see how things play out here in about 8 minutes.
Oh yes, this time 3 minutes. Actually, the aggression play is starting to show on the side of TUP and Gearhawks. They have the full advantage of global response, proper utility, and as well as Yushiro, this. And also Sly has changed. He has Luden's Echo right now, and that gives Ari extra ability and as well as 80 damage to go in for a full burst with Spirit Rush. And for this side in Milen, they're also trying to form possibly the Morello, probably ROA. And for this, they're going for standard health, and as well as for Kai'Sa. And Blasphemy probably going with the Blade of the Ruin King, which deals an extra competition and chemistry to get with the passive. As they starting this right now, having it preyed upon this Drake, ready to be taken up on the flesh. As they try to wait this in, Sly is getting more shy by the minute, but he goes for the bad Spirit Rush and Charmed in. Totally out, he was only on one member, and the entrance goes in with the save. The Catalyst not connecting everybody, nobody's inside the pit to be contested with the follow-up there with the chance of Tonto in the back lines. They're still crazy, Naisu. Oh, that take was totally out of bounds in the side of PNU SULO.
A PNU got the Dragon, right? But unfortunately, we go down here. I think we had that initiation. Such a clutch charm there, and just a combo in general to really take out Ziggs, because that they lose a lot of damage when they lose their Ziggs right there, and then they're just able to clean it up. They had such a nice initiation from Diana and Akali, but not to mention Akali has a Lich Bane. We've seen most Akalis go Leandra's first item, but here on Messick's Akali going with that Lich Bane, so that powered up auto attack with already Akali's passive is pumping out so much damage, and they really turned the tides. I have to again give it up to Sly here on that Ari landing all those skill shots, and a charm from Ari can really be devastating, and we saw it during that team fight right there. Again, PNU has the dragon buff. They were able to get it, but they did lose that fight here. Now we have, you know, they're going to go ahead and clear the ward because in 30 seconds we have a Rift Herald fight coming up as well.
Oh yes, Lit Bane stealing the trio pick of Akali, probably prioritizing that autos as is mentioned, and they need to get that faster way of also holding her lane as well. So for the taking, it is I think the bitter end charmed in right in front of the tower. 3 versus 1 goes into that score, that making it 5 for TUP and Gearhawks. Nice. So look at them go as they try to seal this in. They have the momentum and the aggression. Why not go for the 3 per kill this time? Oh, they're trying to brew it. Oh, as they try to slay them. Taking some turrets, they're trying to exchange it with the big version of the bot turret.
Yeah, they have the momentum. They're getting the turret, not to mention the Rift Herald as well. And right now, you know, Gearhawks is in the driver's seat. And it came, like, really Rengar's aggressive play, you know, bitter end on this Rengar is really pressing that gas pedal, the momentum, because, again, Rengar, super scary, super packed with damage in the early game, and that's what's really driving this team forward right now. PNU really has to just, again, stop that momentum if they can, and continue to focus on the objective. You know, we have an Infernal Drake coming up next, so PNU can, you know, go for that fight. If they happen to win it, grab that dragon, you know, they're still in the game. You know, they're starting to get some itemization here. You know, J4 picking up that GA because over there, Blasphemy knows, hey, I need to get this Drake, right? So he grabs that GA, which is good because that's an advantage over this Rengar. So even if he has to sacrifice himself, if he's able to grab the next dragon with GA, that's going to be a win for PNU, which could later go into the game for mid game. But you see here, like, phase check coming in. There's the taunt. I think he's just going to go ahead and back out of there because he knows he's outnumbered. And there you go. But you know, that's what's leading up into this next dragon here. Again, Rengar would look at the damage from the bullet coming off, but he doesn't have enough. Ari coming in, does get the flash out, the moonfall, and does land the charms. Fly with these charms is just on point, time after time again. And we saw it right there. Now they're going to put the pressure in the bottom portion of the map, OSX.
Oh, would you look at that? That was one hit of a follow-up play. The perfect timing of the charm for the last hit. He was too confident of landing it with Sly, and he was too, again, aggressive of putting that jump and on perfect, precise destruction. Oh, that was a score. 6-0. The gold advances in the side of Gearhawks. Probably they were totally growing this rotation in this side of their composed champions, and mostly they're trying to get it on the pushing and as well as a strategy constructing more defenses out. But Blasphemy is still doing a good job of holding this, but as they say in League of Legends, well, if you need to deal damage to exchange, but in safety you also need to do something to have your trades with the killing. Nice.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and just trade up that Infernal Drake, you know, and they did get a good push. You know, they did get a good push in the top portion of the map, but, you know, they just gave an Infernal Drake to an already super powered up team composition with this, you know, with their Kali, with the Rengar. Corki's got his Triforce and a BF Sword as well. So, you know, realistically giving that Infernal Drake for a turret, that they got one turret, you know, was it worth it? You know, in my opinion, not so much, but we're going to have to see if they can still execute these team fights well. And, you know, maybe they're just trying to stick together at this point and farm up and really get, you know, give the chance to Zia Maze on this Kaisa to come online, getting those first items that we're going to see right here, grabbing that Blade of the Ruin King, you know, and they're going to have to protect, they're going to have to do a good job at protecting middle end on the Ziggs and Zia Maze on this Kaisa. And they you know, they have Janna for the Monsoon. She's got Ardent Spencer, but right now there's just so much damage, and on top of that, an Infernal Drake now on Gearhawks, and Gearhawks knows this, and that's why they're in the enemy jungle. You know, they're trying to start something because they know they have that advantage. And I'm telling you, this deleted character going down. Look at all the damage. Infernal Drake, the double kill. What? In there from Akali. And that's exactly what I was talking about. They just have so much damage packed into their team composition. That's going to pop the GA on Jarvan. They're most likely going to get the taunt off. There you go. They're going to work on the kill. Probably cleaning up Diana. And that's going to be it right there. The killing spree pops the stasis to survive on top of it. And that's going to be an 11-0 Gearhawks.
That was totally the ambush of the night, nice. So
Yeah.
they were totally waiting, and Sly was ready. Okay, I'm gonna get my charm ready, and they were all on. They were totally wiped out in a second, and the scale of damage that they already dealt with, or they're trying to deal with, it was totally out of bounds to be deflected in the side of PNU Solo. They were totally mad in securing that and landing that rush, especially with the follow-up kills on the top turret as they try to seal that. I think that would be the perfect fate of the Baron during the death timer reset, but they're trying to have it on a back, or trying to back it up, or on having this composition in a proper state, where since they have the lead this time, they would probably have the decision to take this. But for the late game probability, it still can happen, but for 11-0, you need to get in another state of a miracle play, as you say.
Yeah, and I mean, Gearhawks is obviously in the driver's seat right now. They have such a big lead, OSX.
Oh yeah.
And right now, PNU, they have to find something, right? And I mentioned, and you mentioned a miracle happening, and really, it's going to take that for PNU. They have to slow the pace of this game. The best thing that they can do is what they're doing now. They're sticking together, trying to win team fights. The problem is, if they're always together and they're fighting 5 versus 5 or even 4 versus 4, they're at such a big itemization, disparity here, that they're going to most likely have a hard time winning team fights. And at this point in time, you have to watch out for Rengar as he's going up towards the top side, and Kaisa is there with Jarvan. But, again, Rengar has the items that he needs to survive.
Oh yeah.
He has the Shadows enchant too, and they're just clearing all the vision. That's the winning side here for Gearhawks. They're just clearing all the vision, and it makes it even more scary for PNU to really just even get resources right now, because at any moment a Rengar could jump out and combo one of your carries here, and that's why they're so stuck in these lanes traveling together.
Yes. Actually, they're being countered by taking down some vicious off of PNU Solo to get back up, which is totally a devastating feeling right now, because if they're on the sweeping lens as of this time as they try to take this. No, you're gonna, as Gearhawks is saying, you're not gonna get back up this time. We're trying to maintain vision. In the game of Wild Drift, you need to have your wards in, and as you say, in taking control of this map, they would the Gearhawks would have the advantage of the control on where a PNU Solo is coming from. But for this, as they wait for the objectives to finally be taken, Baron up for the grabs, and for the score of 11-0 with the gap of the gold advance with 2 Drakes in the side of TUPM Gearhawks, they might see the possibility of taking the hand of Baron for total destruction and going straight to the inhib turret.
Yeah, and I'm just waiting for Gearhawks to really push the pedal on that Baron play. I think they're going to continue kind of playing. They know. I feel like they respect PNU enough to not just go and force a Baron, because they do know that PNU has a good team comp, and if they get caught in a Baron pit with a Mega Inferno Bomb, a Cataclysm, Moonfall from Diana, it's going to be a disaster, right? No matter how far ahead they are, they don't want to get caught in that Baron pit, and
they don't, man. Don't.
Big respect from Gearhawks over to PNU, and I think again PNU, all they can do is just continue to buy time, continue itemization. Kaisa is getting a couple items, has 2 items now. So does Ziggs. Jarvan's getting a little more tanky. Did pick up that ran to its own Omen, and Diana has that cap as well. So the scaling is starting to happen for PNU. Unfortunately, we can tell by the gold, they are behind in items compared over to the other side, but they can still win team fights based off their composition alone. They just have to pick those fights correctly and not face check, not get caught out. Those are going to be the key points here to survival for PNU.
Oh yes. Probability and chances might be on the driver's seat right now for Gearhawks to seal this momentum and opportunity, because as they try to sweep some remaining vision of PNU, they're gonna go blind at PNU in terms of getting with the response of taking some steals. But now the jump in goes in for Milen, but getting back up for the satchel, that gave him the chance to escape. And right now, nice, so I think something's gonna happen here.
Yeah, and we saw that damage from Rengar there, and that's what I'm saying. They're so afraid to be alone.
Oh yeah,
because that's the pressure that Rengar has. That's what bitter end is providing, and you're going to see them kind of. They have to.
Oh no,
Gallia on the corner. taunt anyone that he has to do, and Jarvan's gonna work his way. Blasphemy coming in a little bit too early, gets the counter. Oh! Off Rengar with this smite. It looks like he's gonna get flashed out here. Everybody can chunk really low, and they did manage to get the Baron, so now Gearhawks securing that Baron. I will say Blasphemy did a good job at trying to get it, right?
You're
He had
right. No, yeah.
you know, that was his only choice. Blasphemy could hopefully get that Baron, but unfortunately it didn't work out. So now, again, PNU backs against the wall. They have to stop the Baron power play, the pressure from these powered up minions, and not to mention they have to worry about Elder Dragon too, because if they give up the next Elder Drake with Omnicamp, it's even going to get further and further behind for them.
The Elder, you need to have that extra. It's like collecting power stones in Wild Rift, because if they want to seal this additional 29 seconds, they're trying to withstand the destruction with the Hand of Baron, but I don't know if Gearhawks deciding to still push this Elder Drake for their taking. Being greedy can deal enough of damage to push through the defenses in the side of PNU SULO. If they can hold this and turn a different wave of having it with a counterplay, they can do it. Because if they want to have it on a scale of, again, another second chance of getting back up, this time. Make or break situation, Nice2, and this might be their chance to show up.
Yeah, they are going to work their way. You can see Galio just hanging out from that vision there to block them off here, but Holly's still coming to the show. But there's the Spirit Rush, the flashes are out. There's not much that they could do there because they don't have that vision available to them. You know, they don't have the deep wards in there because Gearhawks have cleared it out. And all they can do is, again, defend, and hope for something to happen in favor for their team.
They might just do this and break this last inhib right now. Nice to deal more damage. That's down. The last inhib in the mid lane. Follow up this time again. Nice2 is just going well on the side of PNU SULO on taking this first. Is this the final sweep? Today's match of 2 PM Gearhawks. That's the greatest opportunity Nice2. This time around, they're going to keep the stage.
All the turrets are down. Here comes the last push for the Nexus. They're looking at the game here. There's all the ultimates coming out as well. Cataclysm, and that's going to be the end of the game right there. Gearhawks with a strong showing in game 2, coming out with a victory over there in that series. So congratulations to Gearhawks. It was a GGWP. Of course, you know, to PNU, I think they did a great job. This one was a little more one-sided, this game, you know, but I think just all around that what happened here, OSX, is this Rengar, like, he just got online early on and provided so much aggression, so much damage, and it just snowballed the game into a winning favor for Gearhawks.
It is, and right now we have the bitter end is now the MVP, obviously. Triforce, Stark's Rage, and as well as the Guardian Angel. You have extra power, stacked up ability, damage, and the standings are now up for our day 3. This time, Golden Lions 6-0 with 9 points in. Tamarahouse 5-1, make it a total of 7. And for the overall score of Teletigers, make it a 3. They're standing with a 2-4. They have been trying their way to get back up because it's still not over for them. So War again with 2-4. Overall points is 2. Sage Esports 2-4, making it 2 points overall, and Gaia taking it with 1 point today. One of a challenging week for our place this time. And for our group standings, for Group B, Valiant Wings on 7 points, Gearhawks on 6, 4 points for Bravehearts, and as well as SULO. 3 points for Loyola Gaming and Paradigm on 1. It's one heck of a challenging week. We've seen colleges, actually Nice2, still trying to get back up. And it's still not over, right?
Yeah, it's not over. You know, we still have plenty of games to play.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, even though we're wrapping up day 3 here, we still have another day tomorrow as well of games and action for you guys. And, you know, before we end it here for today, we do want to give a shout out to our sponsors again to make this possible. You know, the University Alliance Cup wouldn't be possible without these amazing sponsors. UAC 2021 is powered by Globe Telecom, of course, and ASUS ROG Phone 5, Logitech G, Riot Games, and Twitch Student. So that is, I believe, it for us, OSX, and everybody watching. And we thank you guys for joining us today. It was a long day, you know, but a lot of action, a lot of play from amazing college level players. And as I mentioned before, it is really exciting to see where these guys are going in the future, how this group stage is going to turn out in the days and weeks to come. And that's it for us, guys. And thank you very much for joining us again. I am Naisu, paired here with OSX. It was a pleasure, man. And
Yeah.
we will see you guys tomorrow.